Hey there, Joy of the World friends and family. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new here to this channel, click that little subscribe button and ring the bell. They'll notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy of the World, give us that big thumbs up, like and share. Help get the word out about Joy of the World. It's about making our world a better, bolder, more bright and beautiful place because you are in it. And the more people tuning in, getting their energy sessions, leveling up, the lighter our world gets, the brighter our world gets. Okay? So help me out with that. And thank you for your donation that you've sown to this channel. I have many new decks that have shown up, and it has been exciting riding the wavelengths of those energies. So for now, this is our Magic Monday. Be it known that it's not about a Monday. The Freaky Fridays aren't about a Friday. They're just an extra read, and that's when they show up. I cap the ends of the week with it. Magic Monday on Monday, if I didn't already say that. Joy. Okay, and then the Friday read. And I'm also putting out a few reads for men now, too, so that they can hear something in their vernacular, speaking more to their mindset and using that language, those linguistics, okay? So for now, we have something crossing us, friends. Okay, and I'm like, what is up? It is like, man, your mind is a mess. You're out of your mind and have worn yourself out doing some moon magic. I don't know who that is or what's going on, but it is serious business. Take a look at that. Take a look at that, calling out and connecting with the moon, connecting with the moon. For some of you, that's trying to do moon magic for another person or for specific reasons, like from work to love to whatever, finances. But some of you, it's trying to connect to yourself, to know your own mind, to understand a bit about it. And for a few of you, I see Sagittarius going on. Sagittarius has the South Node in it right now. So maybe trying to connect with some of that energy, or maybe that's a bit of what's causing the disruption. Makes perfect sense. Makes freaking perfect sense, because the two cards here, let me pull them down. You can see they're face down. Sometimes a few cards come out ahead of time. Sometimes they don't. It really doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. But you're saying you got some freaky energy crossing you. And this card from the Oracle Visions came out, and it's like, freaky, yeah, joy. And then instantly, boom. Is like the power of Jupiter. The power of Jupiter is stepping in, and for many of you, it's going to be favor. It's going to be empowerment. It's almost going to be like a lucky break, like a fresh new start. Is what I saw as I'm getting this deck prepared for our read today, and you're definitely needing it. Look at that. You've worn yourself out trying to get things through your own power, through your own way, through the way things were. Not trying to get your own way because you didn't know any different. But there's this expansion of Jupiter stepping in that's going to revive and renew you. And almost to a sense of an understanding that you've never had before. A capability that you've never had before. And it's not logic, reasoning, understanding where, okay, I see the sequences of how this occurs. I can replicate this and put it and lock it into place. Photographic memory. No, it's more of like the flow, the feeling, the go that comes from it, and how to allow it to connect with you and flow through you, to no longer resist, but allow your streams. Remember the chart of the Eye of God? Those are strings, your connections, all those different ones, they're streams, allowing them to be tuned, fine-tuned, which is that perfect juxtaposed energy between too loose and too tight, right? It's just right, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, okay? So you keep reiterating this newness because whose bed was just right? I don't know, but she's like, go get it. She's pointing at the baby. She's pointing at the baby, and I'm like, oh, what baby? What baby is she pointing at? And what I see here on the top of my runes is pointing right back. Hey, we got a visitor. We working from home, people. And we keeping it real around here. Peek down, that's my son Gray. Say, hey, I birthed that baby. Can you see it? Mm-hmm.
No worries.
Thanks for stopping by. Okay, I see you right here. Come on. Come on. Oh, I love it. Perky, buoyant, happy, and elated. Okay, so that's let me know. For some of you, it has been difficult. It has been this, I mean, because, y'all, that may look fine or may look enticing or may look commanding or whatever, but that is not functional. That is not something that demonstrates you being at ease. This is something you feeling like you've being dominated. Is that how else we say it? So sometimes when we feel dominated, our response is to dominate, okay? And that is, that's over tightening the string, okay? And the string can pop, the stream can get that high pitch, and then the music that you play isn't soothing or beautiful or inspiring, but it throws everything out of whack. So you're talking about perky and buoyant and bright, okay? Now that's what you want from your strings, because if you have the strings and you pluck them, you want them to have that resiliency, that bit of bounce, that vibrato, which is where the sound comes from. Okay, enough of that, y'all. Enough of that. You okay? Fine. You want some Pitman? You're like, Joy, get one of those new decks. Look at this. Talk about a cosmic world. Look at that. You're wanting to climb the mountain. You're like, let's leave the city behind. I'm like, okay, friend. Whatever. We can't talk that much. I love you. Ah, perfect volunteer. I want one more look. You got some love circles going on. So some of you is that control of Saturn. You're like, Joy, now you talked about Jupiter. Jupiter. Now talk about Saturn. I'm like, okay, let's take a look at this. Let's see about the man on the moon. Ooh, somebody's landed in love. Others of you, you're finally getting a breath of fresh air. You're able to do what you thought you never could. And it's the balancing of that connection having been worked during this time. And for those of you who allowed this balance to not dominate you, and therefore to not knee-jerk react in domination or in withdrawal or hiding those type of facets, you're gaining the benefit of what that is: the satellite, the communication, the connection, the remote accessing to your own heart, as well as others retaining access to you. Because when we act out of character, that's removing our ability to be in connection with even our own self, much less with anyone else. And you're like, hit that other car, Joy, and I'm like, ooh, baby. Talk about a fine synergy. You got the farmer and the cow. And don't be hurt. This cow's like, I'm not ashamed. I have no problem that he gets milk from me because he feeds me. He feeds me. Look at this divine connection going on here. And even that farmer, look, chewing a little cud himself, having a good old time. Plenty of bread, plenty of grain to store. It's about having prosperity, and really the word I love, I hear plenty. Having plenty. So for those of you that it has worked to you, and it didn't leave you like this, right? Although your soul may feel a little bit exhausted from all that moon magic. Trying to harness the Eight of Wands, communication, losing touch. Those of you who've come back from this, you're already ready for this. And those of you who haven't, we're working through this, okay, to bring you up to date and catch you up to here where you are perky, buoyant, and bright, okay? Where you in this land of plenty, right? Feeling good. Excuse me, y'all. When that y'all comes out, you know I'm from the South. Okay, so let's look above this 7, this epoch, about the return of energy for this period of time that has been exhausting, outlaying. And for some of you, it began really early March, irregardless of COVID, irregardless of Jupiter in its position returning now. That's kind of when this like panties in a wad, underwear in a bunch type synonym is happening. Okay, whatever. Ooh, look at that. Talk about some Jupiter. Talk about some Jupiter. And then that's definitely Saturn smoking and on fire on top. But the wound. So it worked you because it was working your wound. And there are times, like in a real physical wound on the body, you have to work in order to keep it clean, to keep things, especially when it was deep, to get it rising up to the surface over and over and over again so that the deepest layers can heal instead of forming a pocket and having disease or gangrene going on the inside. But that pocket was coming from your mind. Remember that moon? How hard you worked yourself in that moon magic, that connection to your mind or connecting to someone else that you thought was like-minded, where you got wooed in, maybe a little bit of foolish stuff going on and not the fool of the deck, because I deal with a fool unto life, not a fool unto destruction. So in this case, it made you like a fish out of water. It drained you of your emotional state of balance, but it really aligned you pivotally for this period of Mars that's coming through. So although it felt too much at once, it's actually been gradually happening over a period of time, this expansion and contraction that made you feel all bound and controlled, remember, dominated. right? But that is what has made you start to work this energy, okay? Because this is Saturnian and this is Saturnian going on up here. But you were like, you were turning it so much, you like heavy on the turn, Joy. You're like, we start smoking, we call fire. It's like you've been driving with your emergency brake on. Well, if you're wanting to move it forward and you're wanting things to change and to happen, why'd you pull out the emergency brake? You just told on yourself, friend. You want it, don't want it. Want it, don't want it. I want it, but maybe. I want it, I don't know. I do, I do, I do, I do. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. You know, it's like this. It's almost like, you know, two things going on. One thing above the surface, one thing down below the surface. Okay? There's this gravitational pull going on here, but it's coming from your heart being inverted, from you feeling like your world is upside down, and it's because it is. You're like putting yourself in this different perspective, but you're leaving yourself there. Instead of taking a moment, like taking a mental photograph, taking a mental snapshot, and then coming back out to take time to review. And that doesn't mean always weighty thinking or movement thinking or mulling or, you know, very active movement of the mind. It can mean reflecting, like just watching a sunset, you know, vegging out in front of the TV, some cooking, you know, any form of inspiration really helps our mind to move. Oh, especially walking, y'all. But here, there's a special energy that's come alongside you to work, to bring in the balance, to turn that for you. For some of you, it is love, okay? It's a human, it's a person. But for some of you, it's spiritual because you want it, don't want it, want it, don't want it. Smile, don't smile, smile, don't smile. It's like, oh man, you're like a locomotive burning up the tracks. Step off, friend, step off. So the magic is already done, all right? Because it's showing us after midnight here. And the thing you need to know before you wear yourself out, and you're like evaporating this water from the heat, from the intensity, from just holding the wheel to the grindstone, okay? Your nose to the grindstone here, but here it's actually your wheel. It is your zodiac placements, all right? Taxing and trying, taxing and trying. Life doesn't have to be trying, taxing, and testing in order to benefit, in order to grow, in order to have plenty, in order to have synergy. Okay, friend? So, with that, let's take a peek over here. Let's take a peek over here before you burn the mother up. Ooh, it's inverted. I guess your plenty's come to hang out upside down with you. It's like, well, if you're just going to stay inverted, I'll come lay down this way to talk to you. Maybe I can talk some sense into you. Maybe you'll listen to me now. Maybe you'll get the idea now. Maybe you'll understand me now. I could talk to you like this if you'll turn around. But I just don't know. And over here, she's like, I tried. And so now she just settled in and said, I'm going to join you. I'm going to join you. All right. If this is the way you have to see it, and you think it has to happen that way, then I will come in the way you think it has to be. All right. Now, the difficulty with this being the Lady of Pentacles, that has to do with proof, with tangible, with money, with finances, with rewards, with things like that. And if she's having to come, that's going to make rain fall on your head. And I'm like, okay, that's one of my cards here. So let's get a credit card on that because she's opening the scrolls. Has been talking to you for quite a minute, okay? So let's see what the Lady of Pentacles has been trying to tell us. And she's coming as a friend, not a foe, all right? All things are possible, believe. Now, when I created this card, I had no idea why it says that, and then it says genius and light bulb. And a couple of months ago, doing one of these readings, some other card came out, I don't even know what deck, and it had no visual power to it that would relate to that, but they told me genius. And they're like, Joy, the plural of genius is genie. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You mean my belly? And look, that's all up in your belly. That's all up in your good stuff. That's all within your reach, friend, okay? Rub your own belly. It's possible. Make it happen. Get comfortable with yourself. Be at peace with yourself. Calm yourself. Encourage yourself. Motivate yourself, all right? Parent yourself. Or like she's saying, the baby, birth yourself. Birth yourself. And this contraction and expansion is going on, which has been the dynamic, the juxtaposition of Saturn to Jupiter. going back and forth. So we have the expansion of Jupiter, contraction of Saturn, and you have that going on. She's like, you better push. That's like the cervix right there, birthing it on out. And what is it birthing? This perky, buoyant, resilient attitude, this land of plenty where all things work out and work together, where there's no sweat, no blood, no tears, no worry. The magic has finally, gone from green to gold. Did you even know it had gone to green? Green magic is made when the red magic and the white magic merge together and you allow yourself to become whole. That is what has happened here in this wolf, because look, he's standing on the greenery. He's got plenty here. So the wolf, okay, just so y'all know, the wolf eats grass. Like the lion and the lamb will lay down and eat grass, okay, eat straw together. So here it's been mended, the green comes together. So the red is the blood, sweat, and tears. The white is the hopes, dreams, and fears. And you finally let it all merge and you realize not to have the double vision, but to unify your mind and to unionize your mind. It comes all together. It makes the green. Well, what you're showing me here in the plenty is to get to harvest the green has to alchemize to gold. Okay, so they've been talking about this for a minute, but not coming forward with the words. About alchemy is often the black turning into gold, like the coal turning into the diamond, that sort of thing. But here the green turns into gold. Your synergy turns into your divinity, which then becomes your destiny. All right, chew on that, baby, but thus you got the genius. You got the genius. That's what she's here, is to tell you, look, she says, my belly is full. I'm abounding and full. I am the keyhole. I am the gateway. I am the open door. I am the balance of when your moon meets your sun and it lines up perfectly. It opens the pyramids. Okay, and the waters of heaven are ready to speak. What's wanting to rain down your head is all these gifted ideas and loving friendship. Now I'll tell you, lover, take it all day long. But I'm telling you, if you don't also have loving friends in your life, life can become single-faceted. It can become flat. It can become mundane, or what would that be? I'd say frivolous, but not in that sense of mind, but it's like frittering. I don't know why they're saying frittering. But anyways, let's take another step forward in this, shall we? So since these prepped themselves for us, let's take a look at the Cosmic Tarot. So Lady of Pentacles, give us some fill in on this genius about these great ideas, the belief in the heart, riding the hangman so that they don't boil away all their prosperity and drown themselves. Ooh. If you're Pisces, because I wanted to start with a Pisces reading, they're like, no, you go start with your I see you Magic Monday. And I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to do that. Who is there? See you and you, but you're just background. Let's get the background noise right there. Okay. Let's check the background noise of what is incoming right here. So underneath, okay, this is the one sliding out, Two of Wands. You're confident. Do you know you're confident? Do you know you're confident about who you are and what you have to present to the world? You're at peace with who you are. And it's been a minute. There has been some strategy, some planning, some seasons, and some cycles. And it's coming in this autumn. Look at that. Okay? It's coming in perfect alignment. So this has to do with the friendships, remember, that we were talking about as well. Letting that love of friendships come on in to help nourish, and it provides like kind of like a looking glass self where you can see yourself more clearly, because what you enjoy in the people around you and what lights you up, what lights you up, what rubs your belly, what makes you rich and full, is the very things that they see in you. So here it's talking about, let me show it to you and then I'm going to take a different look, because there is a hammer going on in there. So you set sail with the old balance that you had devised, because that balance only served you on the waters. Okay? It only served you on the waters. And now you're talking about the land, about building a foundation, beginning to find resources to build a foundation, to build a house, to establish yourself in this land that you're finding yourself in. And there is, so each step that you take, there's a half step in front of you. There's illumination enough, and we could say enough, no, really, there's plenty. What it's doing is it's umpting you forward. So we've made some sort of shift here once we discover we're the genius and we flip on our belief. This is what begins to happen, and we have the perfect mirror reflection. It doesn't matter that there's a bit of clouds in the sky, spirits along here guiding you, and you've chosen in this case to go ahead and to follow and trust your gut, your instincts, your spirit, and others will come. Tell me about Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. Okay, that's the background. So along with that background, let's take a look at the Lady of Pentacles, because this is what is falling out of her head. These are the stars and the starburst and the sunburst that's coming on. Hierophant, Ten of Swords, and Ten of Cups. Okay. Something's going on because my throat doesn't ever get dry while I'm talking here. Taking off the shackles and restraints of playing the game. Some of you have been playing a game about who you are or who you think you are, because it's very clear over here. I love that boldness, look. That boldness came on in first, saying, you know who you are. Step forward, build it. They will come. They will come. But this is where you're showing yourself at right now. Okay? Do you see that? Of playing the game, of believing that you have to play into that. Now, I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were like in a funk, but I could also see them directly, like I see through people, so I could see right through it, and I'm like, man, just under that little piece of skin, that little piece of veil, you're totally fine, you're totally happy, you're totally agreeable, you're totally whatever. So I just like played fun with them for a second, and they began to laugh. And then their mood lightened up. And I'm thinking, if we knew that we had the option to choose, that we don't have to play into these roles that our generation, our world, whatever has lived out in front of us, of thinking that's all we have to choose, because remember, you've healed your mind. That you don't have to sit here and look confused or perplexed, or let me take another look, or let me sit here and do it the hard way, or let me earn it, let me deserve it. All those things. This is old mindset. And she is trying to look. She's trying to dislodge you. Because you set a timer on this thing like you're going to do a Houdini feat or a David Blaine. And she's like, let me get you out of here. Let me get you out of here. But fate has stepped in. Love has stepped in to deliver you. And this is what she has to say. This isn't you. The shaving of the head, the bleeding yourself dry, the playing of the game, the chip on the shoulder. It's not even like a bad-mouthing chip. Sometimes it can just feel like it's a role or a relegation or sign language responsibility. That having to take up blame for others, responsibility for others. Because what it's saying is you're responding in a way that others would respond, or how others would think you should respond. You're not responding in authenticity, because you're pointing to that sun. Like you're all pinned in and tied in, hemmed in, and the light is bursting forth from you because you're radiant, you're divine, you're joyful, you're jubilant. You have the power to shift your state. And that's what this sword is pointing at. It's like, Look at the sun, Joy, in case you couldn't translate that. Look at the sun. Save me, save me, save me. This is it. Break the chains. Break the chains. Set me free. So let's find out. Okay, let's break those chains, friend. Let's set you free. So, you want to do that? No, we're going to go right here. So it's about a shadow in a vault is what I really hear talking. Ooh, I'll get to that in a second. The shadow in the vault of knowing your own mind. Your mind is whole. The riches of the mountain. You've brought it all the way up from the core depths, the center of the earth. But you were painting yourself blue here, even though, look, y'all, that's the Ten of Cups, totally surrounded by love. Totally surrounded by love, but bare and feeling incomplete when you should be pinked up. You should be vitalized. You should be overflowing, but instead your breath is being held. And see, there's a reiteration of that weeping, of that prescribed response, of the way you were kind of like visually trained, mentally trained, like subconsciously trained over time, but giving yourself permission. And that's kind of what the Hierophant steps in for. Let's move him over here. And he's like giving you a message. See all this yellow, this light coming in over here? And he's sending out the beam from yourself. The same message from the sun and from yourself coming over here is you don't have to be blue anymore. Be who you are. Be in the balance. Be in the eye of God. irregardless of what religiosity says, rules and regulations, authorities, powers, whatever else that is established says. It says, get in the eye of your chart, which is your establishment, your rules, your authority, and your foundation. Okay, so let's get you into the overflow so that you will look and see and inhale your grace, your goodness, your beauty, and your life. So the unique thing of him coming in, this Hierophant from this deck, coming in with the Lady of Pentacles, look, we have the 4 angles going on. 4 angles love to talk in these readings that we have. So what you do is you can type in free birth chart with 4 angles. Or I can tell you the 4 angles are your MC, your IC, your ascendant or ASC, and your descendant, DSC. So they basically, if you do them, they make a crosshair. Almost any chart that you pull up with free birth chart will have your MC listed. So if you took a ruler and you went directly across this circle, you cut the circle in half, that's the sign of your IC. Okay, it's at the beginning of the 4th house, I believe. Yes. And then your ASC, your ascendant, draw the line directly across, cut the circle in half, and that will be your DSC if it's not listed, okay? Because a lot of charts tend to weigh heavy on the MC, your midheaven, and the ASC, your ascending. But the thing is, that's like, would you drive on half a wheel? I mean, that's going to drive like that, and that's going to be one hell of a ride. I wouldn't want to ride, would you? So, I ain't down for that. But when you get this all balanced out and you have the circumference right and things begin to move and things begin to glow and things begin to go, and you can just shut out this noise. You don't even have to make the effort. This does it for you because it puts you in the eye of God. It puts you in your perfect radiance. And in your perfect radiance, the noise just becomes chatter, blather. It doesn't even register at all. And you see, that's when your sun and your moon become perfectly aligned. That's when that gate, that keyhole, that opening, the pyramids open and the abundance of life comes forward to you. And you've got, I'm going to turn up right now. And you got your genie. Here, I'm gonna just rub mine right now like, oh yes, word of joy to the world, get out to the people. So, that's it about the 4 angles. And let's go ahead and get this Hangman. Let's set you free. Let's get your mind upright, get it aiming towards the perky and the buoyant, and then we're going to find out what is going on with this card under the Saturnian love factor. Now, you know it is some love when Daddy Saturn is like, and starts getting on groove, getting on page, getting on pleasure with you. Put the needle on the record. So let's see what this needle, ooh, it's the Hermetic Cup. Some of you have your sights set on somebody. Like you can almost taste the pleasure in your mouth right now, in your mindset, in your mind's eye, because it's like what is going on here. That cathedral is a reiteration of what's going on here. Once you come into your eye of God, you're centered yourself and you trust yourself, okay? This dark space around them and inside this head covering is like this. It's like, ooh, I spy me something fine like wine over here. I'm ready to go taste that Hermetic Cup. I'm ready to be the genius, the good ideas, to be on board, to be on page with myself, to trust myself, and know that I can go forward and that I have something to offer. There's a reiteration in the ship with your chin, your mouth. So the setting of one's chin has a lot to do with their health. A well-formed chin. The crown has to do with the crown. And this person carries their head like a crown, okay? They're opening, they have protection here. And the willow, oh, look, the willow's perked up, y'all. I love it, a perky willow in the dark at night, Hermetic Cup lighting up. It's like it's fizzy, bubbling, burping on up here and coming on up to grab your attention. You're like, oh, I see that, but I see you. Remember that eye, that light shining out, looking into this camera like, hey, baby, I see you. Okay. And that warms you up because remember over here, holding your breath to your blue, not allowing the joy and the pleasure of this overflow to connect with you, being by yourself, because see, 10 of Cups is not about being alone. And it's not about, oh, well, I'm so spiritually fulfilled that I'm truly not alone. I'm with the divine. I'm with spirit. Shalom. No, 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 no. That's what's got you looking like this. You're like, "Rah!" This is like your lower chakras. They're like, please, God, help me. I can't restrain my radiance anymore. I'm made to be in love. I'm made to be connected. And Daddy Saturn's finally like on this going, yes, I agree. Let love in. Let the sunshine in. Let the breath in and allow these two to merge, okay? Allow this red, allow that blue to merge, to come together. And then you get that pink and that purple. You're like, I'm getting the idea. I'm getting the idea. Are you getting what we're laying down here, friend? I sure hope so. So I want to get one more. You're asking for this. Okay. Off the top or shuffle. Okay. Funny. The one that stayed behind, Joy. Let's see. 35 vertigo. Ooh. That number 35 is important for some of y'all. Not just because it makes an 8, but 35. Okay. So vertigo, this is about getting your bearings and getting your setting. Because look, you're showing me why you were inverted like this. You're like, that's what everybody else does. Do you remember when you were younger, if you had kids, they're like, well, everybody else does it. Mom, it's everybody else. And see, can you see all those other keys inverted? They're living upside down. They're being needy as opposed to attractive. And this, now that you're upright, this is going to help you get your bearings here. So you may have a moment of vertigo, some disorientation, a little bit of second guessing, which we could say is self-doubt, but it's really in the softer form of second guessing. But I see the dawn coming on the horizon. I see the nuclear awakening, the ideas. Like your body is already assimilating its divine DNA to get on page, on board with this new iteration of yourself. This new birthing of yourself, this birthing of the plenty, the abundant love, the abundant friendship, the perkiness, the buoyancy, the establishing the foundation, this new land, right? If you build it, they will come, that type of thing going on. So, I think that's it. He's still staring at me, so I'm going to just let it finish on out with him staring at you. Male or female who's here, what you know is this Prince of Cups was the thing that came to deliver you. You would come through a state of what you thought would make you happy, and it didn't at all. And this is a prince, is it's like an awakening of a fresh new vibe, a fresh new heart, a fresh new trust of oneself. Because this is one side of Caduceus, of the Hermetic Cup, connecting. But the light is shining like a firefly, and that's when you're ready to mate, to meet up, to connect, to have that divine connection and a sexual connection, because Scorpio is down there doing what it does, all right? Needing the full scope of love is what you're saying. So that's what lets me know this card is not about the friendship. These up here were, all right? So, men, if that's you, take a look at yourself. Ladies, if it's you, take a look at who's looking at you. All right? So we'll talk soon. Have a magic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and forever day. This is Joy saying I love you. Bye.